Hi everyone, this is Marianne and welcome to my channel. A few days ago, I decided to unearth my old traveler's notebook cover from storage because I wanted to use it again for something, but I'm not sure yet. And it looked a little dirty, so I'm just using some wet wipes to take off the dust and dirt that had gotten stuck, especially on the inner side, which can be a bit of a dust magnet. The outside, on the other hand, was not so dirty. It just looked a little dry and dusty, but I wiped it clean anyway. On the elastic closure, I have attached this brass nameplate that I had made custom many years ago. I ordered this custom made from Juan Luis Faustman in Metro Manila. This brass plate is about the same age as this actual cover, which I purchased brand new around 2012. As you can see, the branding still says Midori, made in Thailand. But these days, these covers are made by a different company called the Traveler's Company. But before it was the Traveler's Company, it was Midori. Now, the outside looked a little dry, like I said, so I decided to try and moisturize it with Nivea cream, just on the outside, not the inside. The Nivea cream worked really well with my leather backpack, and I will link videos of that down below. I wondered if the Nivea cream would work just as well with this leather, but I wasn't sure because this is a completely different leather, obviously, and I have never really used anything on it. This leather does not need it, which is why I really never used any conditioner or moisturizer on this leather. This will be the first time. So I just went ahead and applied a generous layer of Nivea cream directly onto the leather using my bare hands, like I did with my leather backpack, and I will just see how it comes out. For sure, this Nivea cream will not be harmful to the leather. I hope it can moisturize this leather, but the worst thing that could happen is it will not make a difference. By the way, I do have a video about how I have set up this traveler's notebook from many years ago, and I will link that video down below. This Nivea cream that I am using is labeled Made in Mexico. I heard that there were very tiny differences in how every Nivea cream is formulated depending on where it's made, but I don't think it makes that much of a difference. It just so happened that this is what I have now. This leather is really not very absorbent at all. As you can see, the cream just sits on top. But as can be expected for Nivea, the cream actually liquefies after a few seconds after applying, and even that liquid, this leather did not absorb. But that's all right. I still tried massaging it in anyway. The part that looks and feels like the driest is the fold where the spine is, so I applied another layer on that area. As for the inside, it is drying quite nicely after the wet wipes. Now, this still has the original string bookmark that it came with, which is attached to this metal thingy, and I never really used the bookmark, and so it has gotten grungy over time, so I decided to just snip it off for good. After a bit of time, I could see that the cream had already dried up mostly on the surface of the leather, so I used a sheet of dry paper towel to wipe off the excess cream, which did take a little bit of the color off, but just a teeny tiny bit of the color off. But after a bit of buffing, it looked so much better, a little shinier even, and it looks more moisturized and it feels more moisturized. However, this part right here at the top of the spine still looks super dry. As you can see, the actual spine looks better, but the bottom of the spine where the elastic goes in also looks dry at the top and the bottom. So I decided to add another layer of Nivea cream on those parts. But then, as usual, I became a little extra and I added more to cover the entire spine just for good measure. And it worked on the spine. It looked even more moisturized than before after the first layer. But the top and the bottom of the spine still looked super dry, so I added one more layer of cream. And then, of course, I just went ahead and added another layer to the whole notebook cover and decided to let it sit for a few hours and see what the effect is. After about 11 hours, the cream has already completely dried on the surface of the leather, but some of the cream was really not absorbed at all, so I took a wet wipe and wiped off the excess cream. The entire thing looked so much more moisturized than compared with when I began, but the top and the bottom of the spine still looked dry. That means the Nivea cream isn't working on those areas. That's all right. I have done what I could. As long as the leather is not coming apart, and I know it won't, then some dry parts are okay with me. It's part of being leather, I guess. As you can see, while I rub the leather, some fingerprints are left because some of the Nivea cream is still left sitting on the surface even after I used a wet wipe. I decided not to buff it out because maybe over time, if I just let this piece sit undisturbed, the leather will still absorb that remaining cream. As for the inside, it's all right, and it looks the same as how I remembered it to be. The outside leather looks very nice, and I really like how it carries all of the nicks and scratches that it has gathered over the years. That is the best thing about real leather. It looks more beautiful as it gets older and the more that you use it. What do you use to condition or moisturize your traveler's notebooks? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.